Kevin, what is your superpower?
I can see wrong notes.
Oh, that is very cool.
My students always say, how did you know I was playing a wrong note when, I have bands of like 60 kids over here. I didn't have to hear it. I saw it.
Welcome into the ROCC Pod, presented for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I am John Gay from Jagging Detroit Podcasts.
I am Lisa Bibbee, your realtor with Century 21 Northland.
I'm excited for today's guests. We have Kevin Czarnik, director of the Royal Oak Concert Band, and Jim Cann, director of the Woodward Avenue Jazz Orchestra. We're going to talk a lot of music today, guys, but we want to hear about your day jobs first. So, Jim, you're about as far from music in your prior career as you can get, it seems.
Well, we all come from different walks of life. I used to be an engineer, sales guy for manufacturing automation, and music was always a serious hobby I had. I recently retired about 3-4 years ago and took over as director of the Woodward Avenue Jazz Orchestra, even though I'd been playing with them for about 7-8 years.
Got to retire and follow what you really love doing. That's really cool.
That's right. I don't hold a candle to Kevin, who's got an education in music and is actually a real band director. So I'm an engineer turned band director.
Nice. And Kevin, it sounds like you have quite a bit on your hands, but in your spare time, you get to go fishing. So what kind of fishing do you do? Are you fly fishermen?
I usually just do a lot of shore fishing. I like to take my father out, and we spend time in Flat Rock on the Huron River. And if we can get out over near Standish, we like to fish up north of Standish and around the Tawas area a lot. And, we're not really aiming for anything, but we go out to enjoy ourselves.
I think that's the whole point of fishing. I mean, if you catch something great, but it's really just you and nature and you just get in the zone.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's a nice change of pace from, the work life that at least I have to do and my father has to do. So it's nice.
Well, what's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Well, we were charter fishing just outside of Ludington, and I pulled in about 27 pounds of salmon. Wow. But, other than that, just, typical, some bass and things like that, 9 to 12 inches long. We're just enjoying ourselves.
And Kevin, Jim made reference to this, but we're looking at your classroom behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about your day job.
Yeah, so I'm the band director at Croswell-Lexington Community Schools, which is about 20 minutes north of Port Huron. It's located in the town of Croswell, and just east of that is the town of Lexington, which is a nice resort town. At the district, I am the beginning, middle, and high school band director. So if you go see a band program there, it's going to be me leading it. And then I also have started an adult band in this town for adults and some alumni to come back and play. And it's kind of one of my passions, community music. And I'm happy that we can have one of these groups in the town as well.
My wife and I did our mini moon right after our wedding up at Lexington.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful up there, right on the lake. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So we'd love to hear a little bit more about who is the Royal Oak Concert Band and the Woodward Avenue Jazz Orchestra. How long have you guys been a part of the Royal Oak music scene?
Jim, do you want to start?
Sure. We're really a subset of the Royal Oak Concert Band. So the Woodward Avenue Jazz Orchestra, maybe 30% roughly of our members are also in Kevin's concert band. So we have people coming from all walks of life and all different parts of the Detroit metro area, pretty much within a 30-40 minute drive of Royal Oak. Some of our members also live in Royal Oak proper. And so that's how we run. We typically are going to be playing songs that are typical big band stuff like Glenn Miller, Count Basie, stuff from the Great American Songbook, older stuff, as well as some of the newer arrangements. So that's how we roll. And maybe you want to throw it over to Kevin and explain a little bit more about the Royal Oak Concert Band, because that's the main organization.
So the concert band formed first in the early 1960s, and it's gone through a few iterations, a few name changes. Maybe if you're new back to Royal Oak, they were known for quite a long time as the South Oakland Concert Band, but they've settled in with the name of Royal Oak Concert Band for about 15 years now. We are in what we call an adult community band. That's a volunteer group, essentially, of wind musicians. So think of like the band you saw in your high school or your college. And these musicians come in every week to make music together. And we play a lot of the standard concert band repertoire that you would see. Think like marches and overture, classic suites of music. And then we also can do more contemporary pieces. And it's kind of a very versatile group with how large it is and the backgrounds of the people that we have involved with it. And the Woodward Avenue Jazz Group actually started as a smaller jazz ensemble in I believe the early 90s, if I'm thinking correctly. First thing, it was a jazz combo, and it's later grown into what we call a traditional 18-piece jazz band, like you'd see with Glenn Miller, like Jim had said.
Yep. A standard big band, as it's called, is going to have 5 saxophones, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, and then a rhythm section. That's your standard. And then sometimes we add vocalists depending on the show that we're doing.
I never realized that there was an actual, like a calculation of how many instruments you had to classify it. That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I think for the concert band, it's more flexible. But for a big band, it's pretty standard to have 5, 4, 4.
Gotcha. We're going to link to the full calendars for all of your upcoming concerts this season in our show notes. But I have to ask the both of you, is there a certain performance or performances that you're looking forward to the most?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I'm always looking forward to the next one.
That's like Tom Brady. Look what ring is your favorite, the next one.
I was going to say the same thing. You're focused on the next game or the next performance. And for us, that's going to be October 27th. And that's called Colors. Help me out, Kevin. Colors of the World.
It's going to be called Color Your World. So the concert band will be playing an arrangement of the Chicago tune, of course. And then on our end of the program with the concert band, we'll be doing a lot of pieces that have some sort of color theme. You know, there's a suite of music called Chrysanthemum Colors by a gentleman named Robert W. Smith, and that was written in memorial to a young clarinetist in a school program who was also a very talented artist. So the 3 movements of that, red, blue, and yellow, are kind of his musical depictions of the way she described her moods in color. And that piece is going to feature our clarinets prominently because she was a clarinet player during the time that she was alive. And then we have other pieces that are a little bit more, I don't want to say academic, but a little bit more esoteric, like a piece called Color by Bob Margolis. And it's not necessarily about color, but the color that can be made with certain arrangements of wind instruments. That piece is a suite of 5 movements, which are all English dances. And he has cast them in such a way that shows off the many different sounds that the concert band is capable of doing.
Well, it sounds like you guys have done a lot of performances. Is there one in particular that stands out as very memorable for either of you?
Well, the holiday show, which usually happens in mid-December, usually gets our biggest crowd. Recently, we've had Santa Claus show up for us, and it's always been a big hit with the crowd. So I really enjoy the Christmas show. It's very festive. We do a lot of different tunes, obviously, around that whole holiday theme. And we actually this year have a choir joining us as well. So you, Kevin, you might want to even touch on that a bit.
Yeah, it is the Madrigal Chorale directed by Dr. Brandon Ulrich that will be joining the concert band for our December event. And like Jim said, they'll join us for a few selections, and we'll have Santa with us, of course. He's going to narrate a short story for us before the choir comes out. And then the choir itself will perform a few separate numbers on their own. So it's going to be quite a collage of musical talent on the stage that night.
We might mention the concerts. We do 4 a year at the Royal Oak Middle School, which used to be the high school. So it's got a really beautiful auditorium. It's a great place to have a concert. And so we do 4 of those a year, 1 in October, 1 in December, 1 in March, and 1 in May.
Fantastic. Can you let our listeners know how they can get tickets for the Royal Oak Concert Band and the Woodward Jazz Orchestra?
Yes, thank you for asking. The easiest way is you can just come on the night or the afternoon of a concert and purchase them at the door. We have a ticket table right at the entrance to the auditorium. Also, you can purchase them in advance with your credit card on our website, royaloakconcertband.org. On that website, we also have a season pass, which I believe offers a little discount if patrons are able to go to all 4 concerts, but they can purchase 1 at a time as well.
We also have in the summertime, typically in June, in addition to those 4 indoor concerts, both our bands, sometime together, sometimes separate. We do a series of outdoor shows at Clawson, City Park, various places around Royal Oak, very close or near Royal Oak. And those are a lot of fun too. Gives us a chance to come out and see us for free.
Yeah, this year we were included by Alexander Zonjic to open up essentially the Royal Oak Live event in I think it's called Royal Oak Commons by the library. Is that what it is now?
Yep, heavily involved with the Royal Oak Chamber as well. So we appreciate you being part of that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and we hope to do it again. And Alexander has some concert band arrangements, so hopefully he'll take up my request to come play with us next year. It'd be a lot of fun.
For anybody who is new to the area, I think being a member of the Chamber has really opened my eyes personally to the amount of art that happens in and around Royal Oak, whether it's music or other art festivals. There is so much going on in this great little community, including what we're talking about here. So on behalf of the Chamber and the community, just thank you both for doing what you do.
Yes, thank you.
it's a labor of love. We enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great to be able to, offer these kind of great opportunities for musicians and artists in the community. And it's nice to be able to share our talents together with them.
Shout out to our musicians as well. I mean, Kevin and I kind of keep things organized and choose the music and direct the band. But we've got, and the band I run, people from all walks of life. It's all volunteer. Nobody's getting paid in the band. And we have musicians that are good and we have some musicians that are great. So it's an opportunity for them to do what they love to do as well. And we work hard at putting together a nice show.
So it's so fascinating to hear about the bands, but I'm curious, Jim, what instruments do you play?
In this band, I play the saxophone, tenor sax.
Nice. Do you play other instruments as well?
I do. I play the guitar and I sing. So I play, in addition to this band, I play in a couple cover bands, used to play in wedding bands, all that sort of stuff.
Wait, cover bands, what's the name of those?
The group's called Soundstation.
Soundstation. Okay, and where do you guys play at?
Oh, we play this summer. We played all over in the west side mostly. So we played outdoor shows in Northville, in Commerce Township, and Wixom. We played over in Shelby Township. A lot of outside shows. We just had a lot of fun.
Well, between your running to the west side and Kevin, running back and forth to school and to Royal Oak, there's no compensation for being on this podcast, but if I could give you both a gas card, I would.
There you go.
So, Kevin, what about you? What kind of instruments do you play?
Well, I'm primarily a trumpet player. I've been playing the trumpet since I was in 6th grade, so it's been about 20 years now. And I also play some clarinet, but trumpet is my primary instrument. I've been trained to play and teach all of them up to a certain level, for my studies at Wayne State University for my students. But the trumpet is my primary instrument.
I got into first radio and then podcasting because I have no musical ability whatsoever. And I found that out in 3rd grade with a recorder. My parents will tell you some horror stories of me bringing that thing home. So I have a deep appreciation for anybody with any musical ability whatsoever.
Believe me, when I was coming up, I used to drive my sister crazy. So all the honking with the horns can be pretty annoying. But hey, I'm still playing and enjoying it. So.
Yeah, and as a school band teacher, that is something that I think is very valuable that Jim said. He's still doing it. And we made a joke about Tom Brady looking forward to his next game. Well, we can always look forward to our next performance as musicians. We've had musicians in the concert band that were, nearly 90 years old. And some of them, they'll join us right after high school and stay with us. Many of the band members have been in the band for 15, 20 years, and they don't have to stop. Their body still allows them to play, and they're going to because they really enjoy the process of music making, and they enjoy the fellowship that they have with their friends in the band. So something very special about community music is it's for people of all ages, and it's usually non-prohibitive, where like for sports, once you get pretty old.
Once those knees go, but I would imagine the music keeps these folks young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I'm curious too, because you said you have members from all walks of life. If there's somebody that knows how to play an instrument, even slightly good, and they want to get involved with either the orchestra or the band, how do they reach out to you guys and grab a seat in the orchestra?
On our website, there is a tab. We call it like a membership interest page, and they can send a little information about themselves. And we're at a point now where the membership is very full. So if we have the room, we like to welcome new people in. But they can read more up about that on our website, royaloakconcertband.org, and how to join us.
Yeah, and then just for a little plug on the jazz side of the house, the Woodward Avenue Jazz Orchestra. Right now I'm looking for a real strong lead trumpet player and a real strong lead trombone player. We've got room for one more in each section, so if anybody's out there, we're looking. So
excellent. Well, now we're going to switch gears. It is time for our fishbowl question of the day, where we ask you a totally random question, and Lisa is going to pull today's fishbowl question.
Kevin, what is your superpower?
I can see wrong notes.
Oh,
ooh, that is very cool.
My students always say, how did you know I was playing the wrong note? When, I have bands of like 60 kids over here. I didn't have to hear it. I saw it.
Yeah.
You mean by like finger position or, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Jim?
Gosh, I don't know. I know how to keep my wife happy.
Oh, that is a superpower.
Yes. Happy wife, happy life.
Words to live by right there. As Kevin said, if you want to find out more about the Royal Oak Concert Band, you can go to royaloakconcertband.org. And we want to thank you both for coming and joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity to speak about the group.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure our listeners are going to be very excited to come see you guys perform.
Come on out.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. There's a lot of room in Royal Oak Auditorium for everyone.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on our show today. My name is Lisa Bibbee, and I'm a realtor with Century 21 Northland. I put the real back in realtor, and we want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling your home? Call my cell at 248-981-3610. And my website is soldbylisab.com. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B. Let's connect.
And please call Lisa because she'd love to hear from somebody that's not me before we record a podcast. My name is John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. You can find me on social media at Jag in Detroit or me on my website at www.jagindetroit.com. If you have any questions at all about starting a podcast, improving a podcast, or just questions about podcasting in general, whether that's audio or video, I always encourage you to reach out to me at jagindetroit.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of the ROCC Pod. It is produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For any questions about the Chamber or Chamber events, you can go online to royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everyone.